Because the truth is just too disgusting. 100.7 WMMS.
I always think of the older Santana music, although you probably make the case that there's a lot more people nowadays that know the collaborative Santana stuff, the Rob Thomas song. Right. Those were massive, massive songs. But I got to go back to, like, Evil Ways and Oye Como Va and Black Magic Woman and all those. Carlos Santana is on the road, and he was doing a show in Detroit last night, and he passed right out in the middle of a guitar solo. And I can't imagine it's a surprise. I mean, I know he's like 75 years old or something, but also if you've ever seen Santana live, I don't know what he's afraid of, showing his arms or something. I don't know. Maybe he was like a burn victim earlier in his life. Like, I saw him in L.A. 100 years ago, and the guy's wearing like a pullover hoodie. He's wearing like dicky pants and a thick hoodie. It's like 90 degrees out there. It's like at the Hollywood Bowl or something. Like, oh my God. So he was at Pine Knob last night, which was right outside Detroit, if you know where that is. And Carlos Santana said, oh, it was just heat exhaustion. I forgot to eat and drink water, so I was dehydrated, which is probably the truth. But, like, if you're a touring musician and you're 74 is how old he is, why would you forget to eat and drink? You should have people. You got to fire an assistant if that happens.
Right.
You go, hey, man.
You didn't hand me a snack bar?
Nothing. Cliff Bar. I don't think they got a statement from him, but there were plenty of people posting about it at the show last night.
All right, y'all. Carlos Santana something happened to him on the stage. Let's give prayers to him. Let's hope he's all right. He was just doing an amazing show. I saw him take like a weird step. I really hope he's okay. We love you, Carlos.
Ah! He's like, oh, now I feel better. Thanks. Guy back on the grass. Some prayers for me.
I'm going to Blossom tonight to see the Backstreet Boys, and they are not young.
Oh, good for you.
Listen, I'm very excited. I've only ever seen them one other time live, and I snuck into the show when I was working at
They
House
just
of
played
Blues.
Toronto, and Drake hopped up on stage with
Ooh,
him, and the place went bananas.
I'm
I
sure.
bet I'll be there tonight, too.
Yeah, I bet he will, too. He'll just chop her in, chop her out.
No,
Well,
I'm
What's the
excited.
Cleveland Drake? Oh, Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah, he'll
Oh,
jump
no.
up with the Backstreet Boys.
Oh.
That would be great. That would be fun.
Yeah.
If he did, that'd be very fun.
Any surprises at concerts
Yeah.
like that are great. My girlfriends don't go to shows really, and I'm amazed that of the three girls I'm going with, only one had been to Blossom before. And so they...
Why is that?
I don't know. I guess they just don't go there.
Huh.
They fought me on pavilion tickets because they didn't want to pay for it. And now... day of, they're sending all these text messages like, well, what are we supposed to do about this? Or the ground's going to be wet. Should we bring chairs? Should we do this?
Yep.
What if I was like, you're not going to be able to see. We're all 5'2". If you sit down in a chair and there's people standing in front of you, you're not going to be able to see. Well, I don't want to get there.
Are you going to be on the lawn?
We got lawn seats, and they're like, well, I don't want to get there an hour before the show starts. Well, I was like, well, then we're going to be at the top of the hill, and we're not going to be able to see any of the concert. Really? We're not going to be able to find a way in? I was like, nope. And then they're talking about, like, was there a private bathroom or a place for people on the lawn to get concessions? I said, not like there's in the pavilion. Like, I wanted to sell you guys on. So now, 2-3 hours before
I was
we're
going to
supposed to
say,
leave.
you're leaving here and going out to Blossom? Mm-hmm. Who's on first?
It's one of, I don't even know who
An
the
opening?
I don't
They
know.
have one opener. What's on
No,
second?
he's on third.
But
All
they're
right,
all,
well.
I have a group text message blowing up right now about all these concerns. And I text back, I said, this is the only time I'm going to be that guy tonight. But I want you to remember 6 months ago when I wanted to be in the pavilion and I told you all these things, none of the concerns you have right now would be an issue if
Right.
we had seats in the pavilion.
Why didn't you take the one person who's got experience with the venue and listen to them?
They didn't want to, tickets were expensive. They were like $150.
Get it, but that is money well spent.
And I try to explain that. My friend's like, what if I get tired? I'm going to have to stand the whole time. I'm like, if you want to see the show, yeah. That's what the
Yeah.
lawn is. And you better pray that someone who's 6 foot tall doesn't stand in front of you.
When it comes to live shows, man, I am all about paying for the perks.
I am too. And I told
Paying
them,
for the perks.
I was like, I'm already annoyed because I don't want to be on the lawn to begin with. I want to see this band with my best friends. They love them. We've loved them since we were little girls. So I'm excited to go to the show. But it's going to be wet. It rained last night. We're going to be muddy. I know that they're going to hold in their gripes because I'm going to be, I told you so.
Right. They can't complain.
They
you
can't.
go, guys, I told you.
I'd just be like,
Down there in the concrete.
bye.
No.
Is that not them?
You know that's not them.
Oh, that's not them?
He knows
Oh,
it's
I
not
don't
them.
know.
So do you.
Oh.
No, I don't. But I don't know. Well, now I know that's in sync.
Yes.
What did the Backstreet Boys do? Backstreet's Back, all
There you
right.
go. Yeah, that's one.
That's one song.
There it is.
And it's got their name in it. How am I
Yeah.
not going to know that?
You nailed it.
In Sync's Back. Well, next week I will have Blossom tickets for the Cleveland Orchestra.
Ooh.
You know,
Now we're talking.
our own Bill Squire
I love going out to the orchestra.
is our patron of the arts around here,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll have tickets to watch The Lord of the Rings while the Cleveland Orchestra performs the film soundtrack.
Hills, yeah.
Fellowship of the Ring. I think that's the first film. Mm-hmm. That's in a couple weeks out of Blossom. So
They got a series now on Amazon Prime, too.
Oh.
Haven't checked that out. They put up the first episode as a preview for Prime Days.
well, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anytime you want to leave us a message, you can do that. The Alan Cox Show After Hours line, the number is 216-986-8903.
Alan, this is Frank in Cleveland. I'm calling because I'm genuinely a bit concerned about Poundcake. I feel like he's gotten significantly dumber in the last 3 to 6 months, which is impressive in its own right, considering how stupid he already was. But the whole argument on the moving to Canada thing is mind-blowing. And to hear the most ridiculous person any of us have ever had the pleasure of hearing speak say that it's ridiculous is just I just can't get past it. Is this kid okay? Genuinely a little bit concerned about him. All right, love you, bye.
Poundcake, are you okay?
I'm fine. Have his bitch ass moved to Canada. Ain't nobody worried about him. Talk about I'm stupid and I got stupider. Why? Because
He had a very specific timeline. Do you feel like you've gotten stupider?
I mean, 3 to 6 months.
Well, stupider implies that you're stupid. I don't think you're stupid, but I mean, do
I'm
you
not
feel
stupid.
like? Do you think you've gotten dumber for some reason in the last 3 to 6 months?
No. What's stupid is I stayed the same. I haven't
Maybe he's
gained
gotten
any
more
knowledge.
vocal.
He hasn't evolved or devolved.
I've
He's
just
just
been
out
dormant.
there.
I'm honestly shocked that there wasn't more backlash from his stance on that move. Don't move to Canada.
There was.
Oh, we didn't talk about it.
Well, I'm not going to play 4,000 phone calls of people saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Not man, whatever,
And that's
dude.
boring, too, because we all know he's doing shtick.
I'm not doing
And
shtick.
Well, you better say you're doing shtick, because that's a really lame take if you're not.
You know he's not. The fact that how worked up he got, there was no way. He said that women who are complaining about their abortion rights.
But that's when he's
They
doing
should move to
shtick, because
Canada.
stuff just comes from his brain
You
into
guys
his
said
mouth.
Move to Canada.
No, we didn't.
I was actually thinking, like, how neat
I
would
said
it be?
that searches in Google for "Can I move to Canada" were up 800%. That's what I said.
And you said those people were weak
Right.
for not sticking
They
it
were
out.
weak for not sticking it out.
I just feel like every election.
I missed
You
this.
weren't here
Yeah.
for this. Yeah, you weren't here for this. And Cody said vote. That was how you got to.
But
and I said, what
every
happens when you get
election-
pregnant?
This guy doesn't vote.
I do vote.
Please.
Okay, whatever. Fine. I stand in my
You
convictions,
can't
no matter
vote
how
your-
wrong they are.
It's just like you can't vote your way out of mass shootings. You can't vote your way. We don't have a representative democracy. So you can't vote your way out of that.
So when the Republic falls, do you guys want to A, start a new country, B...
Wait, what's the name of the country? Because if it's Codopolis, I want nothing to do with it.
No, I mean, it would be probably like some Rust... it'd be like what happened with Russia after the fall of the Soviet Union. So things will get broken into different countries, and they'll be
And we
their
all
own
decide
thing.
on a name together.
Yeah, or B, we're still part of the new United States that is going to be, just a theocracy. Or C, do you want to be annexed by Canada?
I was sobbing in my bed last
We'll never
night.
be annexed by Canada. I mean,
Well,
we'll
this
be
is a scenario
we'll be a
where we would
patchwork.
be.
We'll be a patchwork of red states and blue states.
You were sobbing, Mary? Why
I
were
was
you
crying
sobbing?
so hard in my bed last night because I was telling my boyfriend,
Because
I
you
was like, I
had
want
too
to
many
move.
sugar cookies.
Because I had so many sugar cookies and they were made with real butter and I was so farty.
Yeah.
And my stomach hurt. And I was like, babe, I can't
And I was
do
so
it.
farty. And boy, that really bummed me out.
And I apologize if you were going to get to this later, but that story about the 10-year-old girl who was in Ohio and she was 6 weeks and 3 days pregnant, so she was denied an abortion. And I was, and here's the thing, I brought this on myself by sending this to my family, that I was like, I sent it to my family group chat, and I was like, I really hope that as the parents of girls, you guys maybe just start to question your thoughts on abortion and who you're voting for, because this is a very real thing that happened in the state that we live in. And your daughter, who is 9 years old, already has her period. This is a situation you could find yourself in. So I was very upset thinking about my nieces and nephews. My boyfriend has a daughter. Like, I think it all just kind of hit me at once.
Even if you don't have a daughter.
Yeah, I understand
I don't want
that.
any 10-year-old to get pregnant.
I don't either, but you have to understand, it is well covered ground, the type of people that I'm dealing with, right? With my family. So I'm trying to...
Well, you have to ask them. You have to say, what this means is that rapists get to choose the mother of their children.
Yep.
And
is that what you're in favor of? I'll tell you what, the very first thing I did when I saw that story was see if it was true.
Yeah, I did too.
Because I couldn't tell if it was just like clickbait or... Because I saw a couple of OBGYNs posting on social media, it's still legal in Ohio. As of now, it is still legal in Ohio. Now, I'm sure it's within the framework of she was clearly, what they said, she was 6 weeks and 3 days or something. Mm-hmm. Right. So before that, technically, yes,
she could have gotten it. Right.
That's right.
So I sent this story to my family, and I'm already upset because now, like I said, I think it all just hit me at once, and I'm crying, and I'm like, I hope this never happens to our little girls and like my nieces and nephews, or my nieces. This is so difficult to feel this way, and I sent it to my family.
Basically what it is that half of the children being born, let's say it's binary, half of the children being born will be born as second-class citizens.
Yeah.
You're not having all boys.
No.
There's girls that the minute they're born under this are relegated to being second-class citizens.
Not if they go to Canada.
He's really pushing for Canada. And I love Toronto as much as the next guy, but, you know, more likely to be a part of Saskatchewan or something. I don't know.
Right. We still got just the same song to learn, though.
Sit on that for a second so I can give away this money.
Yeah,
all right. It's $1,000, chance for you to go fuel yourself. Good luck.
The Buzzard wants you to go fuel yourself and score $1,000. Enter the nationwide keyword MONEY at WMMS.com. That's money. Enter it now at WMMS.com. And good luck from Buzzard Radio.
All right, go ahead. What were you in the middle of?
So, no, my brother, 28-hour workday, texts back and just immediately starts picking the story apart. And so here's the irony of what he said to me was crazy, that he's going on and on about how this is a Yahoo News, it's third-hand information. They called the OBGYN. Nobody wanted to give any answers. The lady herself reported the story, but there's no professional history of her being a doctor longer than 18 months ago. And he's going on and on, just every little thing he can try to get. And then he says this. He goes, if this story, if in all caps, if this story is true, it's very sad. But, again, in all caps, just because something lines up and reinforces what we want to believe doesn't make it true. That's called confirmation bias.
Oh, boy.
And I wanted so badly to be like, do you not see the irony in that sentence of you sitting here and picking apart every single sentence of this article, trying to get your own confirmation bias?
Well, obviously, it's the understatement of the century to say there's nothing simple about this argument. However, people who think that it's positively ghastly and ghoulish, that there are no exceptions for things like rape and incest, it's because those people think that you're killing a kid.
Yeah.
And so they go, I don't care at what point. That's where they're coming from, right? I'm coming from the place of, doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing, a 10-year-old should not have a forced birth.
No.
In a case of incest, or it's just you're relegating the child that's born to a life of, you're going to flood the zone with unwanted kids.
And the child that's having it. That is a child. That is a baby girl. She is 10 years old.
I don't even know if our hips could take that.
She doesn't even a long division. Like, the kid learned how to write. What?
There's plenty of people that are having babies that don't know
I
long
know, but
division.
I'm saying she hasn't been taught it yet. She hasn't been taught it yet.
I just know division. People just don't like me.
Poundcake's into division.
Yeah,
he's gotten. It's not his fault. He's gotten stupider in the past 3 to 6 months.
But yeah, he goes, the last thing he said, at best the water is very muddied and people got major details wrong. No pregnancy in cases of rape, incest, life of mother, or viability of the baby are to be denied under 24 weeks.
Well, listen, the reason he's picking apart the process is because he knows that. Well, I don't think he thinks he's wrong, but he's focusing on the wrong parts of the story. The first and only question is, do you think that this 10-year-old girl should have to go to another state?
What he's saying is that this must be reported incorrectly because, and I didn't check into this. He said the Ohio law is under 24 weeks, and I was like, that anyone in the case of rape or incest can have an abortion under 24 weeks, not 6 weeks. And I didn't think that was right either.
I think the trigger laws, if they haven't gone into effect now, Ohio is going to be one of those states. I mean, we're a red state. I know some people still they have this fever dream of Ohio being a purple state, but it's a red state. And the thing is, a lot of these states that were just salivating at this going overturned is kind of to a person, I don't know if it's a talking point or what, but to a person in these red states, they would say like, well, this is the first step in investing in children and blah, blah, blah. Except they do not do that. They don't invest in children. All these red states, they spend far and away the least on social programs and all this kind of stuff. So it has nothing to do with investing in children. It has to do with kind of creating this, forced theocracy kind of thing that because they think that Jesus wants something, that's what other people should get to do. But
is there a point when you're going to, I mean, you can't win, especially with that one brother. Mm-hmm. He will argue that the sky is not blue.
And why do you start these with him?
So is there going to be a point where you go, okay, because this is what I've had to do with my family. Like I do not talk to my dad about politics because I will punch him in the mouth.
Yeah. Well, I guess
Bill, I wish I could talk to my dad about politics.
Yeah, me too,
I'd rather
Bill.
talk with your dad about politics than mine. Get more done.
Just one phone call. I'd love to have him scream at me, right, Alan?
Yeah, that's right.
No, but I guess there's still a little bit of hope because these are people that I love that I'm like, maybe you'll be able to see it if it hits so close to home where I'm like, dude, this is the state that you live in. You have a daughter. Your 9-year-old niece has her period. Like, this could not line up more with your life.
But it doesn't matter.
And that's what I can't grasp. Until it is going to happen to him.
But there's no point at which if how old is your niece?
His oldest daughter is only 5. But we have
Let's say
nieces who are 10
by the time she's 10, she gets pregnant. Is he going to take her to get an abortion?
No, that's what he says.
Well, there you go.
He would keep it and raise it himself and never tell it and yada, yada, yada.
Listen, that's a lot more than some people are willing to do.
But my point, what upset
But I think
me so
that
much...
these states where it's going to be illegal should foot the bill for the kid. I mean, because this is what
you're trying to do.
But this is what you wanted. Like, you don't get something for nothing. Like, who thinks they get something for nothing? If you have forced this on people, you go, we're just trying to keep kids alive. Okay, fine. It's like people use mental health funding instead of gun reform, right? Go do it.
Then people are
no
just
one's stopping you from doing
it on purpose.
Put your money where your mouth is. If you want forced birth nationwide, because they do want a federal ban, pay for it. And I don't know, why do you think you're going to get something for nothing? Why? This is being forced down everyone's throat, so you guys pick up the tab.
That's what he was saying, too. He was like, most abortions in cases of rape and incest are state-funded. And again...
First of all, he's getting his information from his sources, and other people are getting information from the news.
Yeah.
Things that are being reported because, here's a 10-year-old that had to go,
Yeah. And his, the vibe I got from it was, well, at least it was taken care of. And I want so badly to be like, you are someone who has said to me out loud that you have no savings. If this were to happen to your daughter, do you really think you could afford it? And Indiana's next. Do you think you could afford a trip at the moment's notice to go to Minnesota for a weekend or for however long it takes before they could get you in?
Probably Illinois.
Wherever. But what I'm saying is that as someone who has no savings and works 28 hours a day, if this situation were to fall in your lap, you could not handle it. You know?
Well, nobody knows what they can handle until they're presented with it.
There's so many families that don't have the money to travel out of state at the drop of a hat.
And there's a lot of so-called pro-life people with the resources who would absolutely get their daughter an abortion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Should the case present itself.
It's very situational for most people.
Hey, Daryl.
Hey, what's happening, Alan?
How are you, man?
Good. What you guys are talking about this, but what actually changed in Ohio? Nothing. All the Supreme Court did is send it back to the state. The 6-week thing you're talking about, that's been in effect for ages. I mean,
yeah, but everybody, I mean, that's the line.
The Supreme Court.
That's all the anti-choice people. That's the line, Daryl, is it's just going back to the state. But the GOP has made it very, very clear they want a federal ban. So I don't know what everybody's line is going to be once they try to make it a federal crime. It's not going back to the states anymore. It goes back to the states.
But it hasn't yet. That's what I'm saying.
No, it hasn't yet. But I mean, that's very publicly the plan. So to your point, yeah, if something happens right now, you can be in better shape than you probably will this time next year.
Right. And talking about the little girl that couldn't get an abortion after 6 weeks. That's 6 weeks. That's been in effect for a long time. We're just now talking about it because of the situation. That just didn't come.
I don't think it's been I don't think it's been a 6-week ban in Ohio. That's before a lot of women even know they're pregnant. That can't possibly be true.
It was the heartbeat bill that
that's
was
not
talked about for months. That once a heartbeat is detected, you can't get an abortion.
But that's relatively new in this state.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, Daryl said it's been around for a long time. Not this
what
one.
What I'm saying is, right? It just didn't. It just didn't happen over the Supreme Court sending it back to the states. Is what I'm saying. We're making it sound like that it just happened, and it didn't. It just didn't happen. You know what I mean? So, I mean, where was the outrage 3 months ago? Where was the outrage?
There's been outrage about it.
There's been outrage for 50 years, Daryl, at the
yeah.
concept of, thank you, I got to go here. Wait till Abortion Cops starts over on the Reels channel or whatever, right? They're going to be, reality show producers are already salivating. A generation of unwanted kids growing up directionless, keeping the prisons full. Oh, man.
What you going to do when your babies do?
Get them a compass if they're directionless, Alan. Come on.
Mary Santora, everybody.
Netflix.
I've got to take a break. If you want to send a text for anything, 35192. You can listen wherever you are on the iHeartRadio app.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7
WMMS.